closing too much, which probably not going to work out real well, but we'll see how that works out. Maybe I'll ask Andre every now and then a question so I break my long rambling thoughts. But I am a guy that is super excited about the funnels. This exact type system did change my real estate life years ago because I finally figured out that if I had predictable, consistent lead flow, and then I learned to work the system better and better each day, then sooner or later I would have somewhat consistent and predictable closings. Now, it was still real estate, so they weren't like, you know, I didn't have closings on the 15th and the 20th and the 25th, right? But I did get to where I was doing a deal or two just from this type system per month, additional to my business. So, and it was lead gen through, you know, paying for ads, driving traffic to the site, setting people up on property searches, and putting good notes, tasks, and follow-up. So exactly what we're doing today, about 15, 17 years ago, started working this system, and it did change everything in my business life. But let me see who's on here. And anyone have a win or we'll start with wins. We don't have too many people on, but does anyone have a win or a little bit of success they've had recently on the funnels? It doesn't have to be a closing. It could be, you know, talk to a solid contact, something like that. No, I don't think we have too many people on here today. Anyone have any questions specifically about, you know, the funnel or the system or thoughts, concerns, anything like that? Hey, Miriam, good to see you here today.
Hi, Dan. How are you? I am new to funnels, so I'm, you know, I'd love to share something, a win or, you know, whatever, but you know, I haven't even set up a funnel. So I guess I came on today to see if I could find out where to go to learn how to go ahead and set one up.
Yeah, let me think about that for you, and then maybe, you know, I'll hop on a call after this, or but yeah, let me think the best way to make that happen for you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, glad you're here today. So you know, I liked what Sharon shared last week about, you know, not turning her funnel off, because I've gone back and forth with, you know, folks turning their funnels on or off. So that was pretty key in that she didn't turn her funnel off, and then she picked up a $400,000 listing and a $310,000 buyer. The listing is the buyer. So that is a good reason not to turn her funnel off. I think she's got a town maybe 10 days, so it's probably $100 risk, but, you know, it worked out real well for her that time. I would be willing to say, though, even if she didn't get that buyer, at about 3 leads a day, for 10 days, 30 leads, she probably had a buyer in there somewhere sooner or later, even if she didn't pick up one rather fast. But anybody have any, just a general real estate question? If not, then I'll talk a little bit about shake the trees, and then we'll wrap this up a little bit early today since Braden's not on. See who all's on here. No?
Okay. Hi, good afternoon.
Hey, so what's going on? Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Thank you. Appreciate you being on. Anything we can help you with?
Yes, Andre told me just to hop on here, and I think he sent me an email also. I'm one of the new agents, and I would like to see how I can benefit from what you guys offer as well.
Yeah, good. So Andre will get with you all on how the funnels work and how we get them built out, and how that can be a big benefit to you.
He did explain to me a little bit about it. He also told me that he speaks very highly about what you do, about what you offer, and he told me he is the best. So he sent me this information, and I'm hopping on the call.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you the same thing he did. That guy is really good, but I'm not that guy. It's Braden Kinder.
I got it.
Yeah, so Braden will be back on next Friday. Yeah, and I think the next one will probably take off due to Thanksgiving, but
it's okay. But I have been in another meeting that you guys were connecting, and I really connect with both, you know, and I'm waiting.
Yeah, no, that's very nice of you. Appreciate you saying that.
It's my honor.
Normally Braden's always on here, and I guess he had a conflict today. because we're normally going through opening up someone's back end of their TV core system and actually looking at what they're doing and talking about the leads that are coming in, and he normally is showing us some of the things that we have to do to get the ad spend better or ad spend down, et cetera. But he just couldn't make it today, so you just got me and Dan and James. But um, I know, Kimya, did you start? You had a lot of leads coming in, and Braden, um, what's the process that you're doing now that he kind of shared with you to get back to some of your leads? Because you had quite a few, right?
Yeah. I had like 106 leads, and I was going to jump in too, because so I had 106 leads and it was overwhelming. So Braden, he tapped me and said, come on, let's sit down and deal with this. So he sat down with me and he put all my active leads together. He had me put them, and he had me calling them. And so I was getting some good responses, and I really do have some good responses now. I have a lady who I talked to yesterday. She's a nurse. She wants to buy in Marietta or Kennesaw right away. So I'm going to work with her. I have a gentleman that wants to buy between Decatur and Dunwoody. He wants to buy between 1 and 3 months. I have another lady who her family wants to move by March. And so I have a lot of good leads. And so what I found out is what I was doing wrong. I sat down with Braden again yesterday. And so he went through and he was like, yeah, it's good, but you still have some past due tasks. And that means that you're not staying on top of them. And I took full accountability for that. But what I realized is at trying to catch up, I was going through those active leads, trying to call them and trying to see what I can find out about it and things like that. And I would set a task, but I didn't realize the next time I signed on, I should have gone to those tasks right away and worked those tasks to make sure that I was building relationships with those people. And some of them were slipping through the cracks. And so I appreciate the fact that he has gotten me back on task, telling me how to do it. And so now what I'm looking to do is set appointments. I plan on taking 1 or 2 people out this weekend, and hopefully I'll come up with something. I'll say more than hopefully. It's the system that I'm working, and it seems to be working. I'm glad he got me back on track because I was pretty overwhelmed.
Yeah, when you get 100 plus leads, it can be a little overwhelming, right? But I guess that's a good problem to have is an overabundance of leads and having your pipeline full. That's what it's all about. But great job for taking accountability and setting up another appointment with the Braden and getting back on track. Because that's what we hear over and over again, right? The money's in the follow up.
I love the fact that he does not have a problem telling me when I'm wrong, because I was like, I think it's some kind of error. He was like, nah, if you can text the people, then the phone number is working. And I said, okay, well, that makes sense. And so I appreciate the fact that he hits me with it, and I want to be hit with it, because if he doesn't, then I don't learn how to do it. For some reason I was thinking, I got to thinking it's something different than just this is just a regular buyer, and so what I need to do is make sure that I set up some type of buyer consultation so that I can have that done before I take them out, even if I do it on Zoom. So not get caught up with it being a different process. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Awesome.
Well, we appreciate you being coachable on that, Kimya. It's that's a big part of this, right? You want to be humble and coachable, because he's had a lot of success helping a lot of agents do this. So it's not, one thing I love is at this stage of this, it's not does it work, it's does the agent work it, and then do they continue to take the little pivots to have success with it? Because it's there's no doubt that we have so many agents doing this that it works for, that's not up for debate anymore, which is a good thing. Gives us all confidence to work the system. James, you have any thoughts on that? I know you've worked a lot of leads for a lot of years, and our Commissions Inc. system, super similar to what we're doing now. Prior to EXP was basically the same type of system.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be based upon like half of it is picking up the phone and calling your people back. And I think the biggest thing what he's getting, like I think kind of what Kenya was saying, is like setting those tasks up, right? I mean, that's what he's probably really harping on the most, is just making sure that those tasks that you set up for yourself and those reminders that you're actually following through and keeping up with it. The biggest thing is just I always say, so my first name is James, but my nickname is Trey. I'm the third. So James is the business owner and Trey works for James. And sometimes Trey don't do what he's supposed to do, and James got to get on Trey, right? So, but the management of both of the things is the actual CRM. So, like, as long as you're putting the task in the CRM, now you got to make yourself do the things that the CRM is saying. But if you follow that process and then you get into that routine, now you got a real business that's operating like it's supposed to. Ideally, once you get up and, multiple transactions and you might have an inside sales agent to make those phone calls for you. But before you can get to that part, you fill that box, you're that inside sales agent. So like, so the business part of you is doing what they're supposed to do by actually having the CRM, getting the lead generation coming in and, all that other stuff. But now that worker part is like, hey, is not I'm supposed to hit these numbers or make these calls. I have to hit these numbers and make these calls because that's what my job requires. And I need to keep my job else I'm gonna get fired. So Trey gets fired a lot.
Yeah.
So my issue was not that I wasn't working because I was getting up in the morning. I was working from beginning to end with all the real estate stuff I have to do. I really didn't understand what to put in that task, and so he brought me around on that. Like if you call someone and you set up, I have to make sure that I set the appointment for the next time. I wasn't, making sure that I said, hey, can I call you back in 2 weeks and check on this, and then setting it in there and then doing it. And so that would, and then as opposed to going back to the tasks daily, I would go and try to catch up and start calling some more people. And I didn't even realize that the tasks were becoming past due until he showed me. If I called and they didn't answer, he said, well, so I said, well, what do I do then? What task do I set then? How do I, he has his schedule of when you should call. And then he says, well, send them a text and say, hey, we had this call today and we missed it. Is there a time I can talk to you back later today? Or if not, I'll call you again tomorrow. So I wasn't quite sure what to do and how really to proceed to really convert it. And so that's what he helped me with.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's just a matter of, that's why we set this all up with him. So, you get it up and running. And then in 3 days, he has a review, see where you're at, make sure you're starting to follow the process. And then he's talking to you once a week for a month. I mean, and after that month, then it's once a month. So we can, in that month, and if you follow that system and you hide your call with them once a week for a month, then these things come up. And then by the time you're done at 30 days, you're up and running and know what you're doing. And then it's just a refresher once a month and then getting a course on these once a week. But I think another big thing that I learned the other day talking to Braden was the expectations of, say you got 100 leads. Well, we need to know that there's like, what did he say? It's like 30% of them, you hopefully will get a hold of 30% of them, right? So 70% of them, you're not probably going to get a hold of. Or won't respond, but doesn't mean that they're not looking. Doesn't mean that you're not going to get them, in a few weeks or months or so down the road. But for right now, it's that 30% that you're trying to, convert. And when you're making all these calls, you're thinking, oh my God, 7 out of 10, I didn't reach today. But if you got, those 2 or 3 and you got an appointment that's ended up going to be a buyer that's going to buy a house is going to put $10,000-$20,000 in your pocket, then that's a good day, right? So we got to focus on, it's a numbers game, and you got to go through, the process of calling and texting, etc. With the idea you're going to get a hold of maybe 30% that's end up going to make tens of thousands of dollars worth of commission for that $5 ad spend or whatever, right? But you got to put the time and the effort into making those calls to get the people that are ready now. And then the system's going to follow up with a lot of the other people in the future as, they're early in the game, right? Some of these guys are early in the process, so they don't want to talk to you right now. But if you're making the calls, leaving messages and texting, and then you follow up, they'll resurface, in a month or two, and then you follow up with them again. They'll say, "Man, she's on top of it." I'm not even responding to them, but she's still calling me. But that's the girl I want to work with when they're ready, right?
Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey, recently, last few weeks, 3, 4 weeks ago, I should say, doing neighborhood videos, new construction in my area. I did run across 2 different neighborhoods that had 4.0 30-year fixed rate loans. So what we're going to talk about, I guess, probably on the next Funnel Friday calls, doing some marketing to your database. So just imagine the email's going to, and we'll go deeper on this here soon, but just imagine if I put out messaging to my database, would you be interested in starting your home search again if I could get you a 4.0% 30-year fixed rate loan? So I found 2 different neighborhoods of that. I was telling another agent recently about that this earlier this week.
That's a good text. That's a good text. You guys can all send that out today.
Yeah. So what happened was I was telling another agent this, and she said, "Dan, there's Meritage is actually 3.5% 30-year fixed rate loan." So I hadn't told another agent, and she got kind of hung up on saying, "Well, what if it's not the right city or area?" And I said, "All we're trying to do is get you in a conversation." Well, y'all probably heard me say it before. All we're trying to do is get you in a conversation, right? So if that engages someone to call me and say, "Hey, tell me about that," and I say it's in the fours, it's in Dallas, Georgia, or it's also in the fours in Powder Springs, Georgia, and they said, "Well, no, I want to live in Smyrna or Marietta, and I want to be in the fives." I say, "Great, let me call a couple of on-site agents, find out what the lowest builder incentive is for a 30-year fixed rate loan in that price point in those cities." Now I'm in a conversation, right? So it did its job. So there's things you can do beyond just you got to pick up the phone, but on top of that, you can make some of that a lot easier if you do some marketing. And so we're putting together a little program on super simple text and emails called Shake the Trees. It's emails that go out to your database through KB Core's an easy way to do it, or like Andre said, you can send a text out. But what we're trying to do is get people to raise their hand and say, "Hey, maybe I haven't looked at houses on the property searches, but I would be interested in buying a home in the fours if you could get me a 4%. I mean, what are the rates right now? When I look, they're like in the sixes, right? So 4.0, not 4.99, 4.0, 30-year fixed rate, new construction homes in the fours. So what I'm saying is check your area. It's good to do market research anyway. Just go to heck, on the way home from a grocery store, on the way home from a showing, just stop in a new neighborhood and see what their builder incentives are. So I know pretty much all the builder incentives in new construction homes in my area right now, so I can have conversations about those, and helps with my YouTube channel content as well.
Angie put in the chat there that LGI Homes has 3.99% in Conyers for low 300s.
There you go. Well, so you take that and you run with it. So now you can do marketing with 3.99. If I could get you 3.99, would you be interested in buying a home? Just trying to get you in a conversation. Maybe not, right? Maybe they would, but maybe they're interested, but they don't want new construction. Maybe they buy resale. Maybe they buy a different area in the fives. So easy to figure that out.
You could even text, people that that may not be looking to buy or sell right now. Your friends, you people on your list that you have in your database. And hey, who do you know that might be interested in buying a new construction? Tired of the repairs on their old, current house, and looking at building new, because there's buyer incentives 3.99%. And it just gets people, yeah, my friend at work was telling me about that, telling me that they're looking to buy, and that reminds them to tell you about that person, right? So it doesn't have to be them, it could be someone they know.
Yep. So talk about marketing, talking about Shake the Trees. We're gonna have we'll have some strategies on that for you here soon. It's probably one of the biggest missed opportunities in real estate is not sending out information to your database to try to get someone to raise their hand and identify themselves for you, instead of you calling, 2,000 people in your database. You can send out do some marketing, which can help them raise their hands as well. I'll probably put that in my next newsletter also. Now I think about it, instead of just I'll do one-off emails, but I'll probably also have it in my newsletter saying, hey, if I could get you high 3s, low 4% fixed rate loans. What do you want to buy a house? All right, anyone else have any other questions? I think we've got like 6 minutes here, and before we got to hop off a little bit early today, but you can ask about anything at this point. Any
So,
real estate related questions?
Andre, I have just a quick testimony. Yesterday, I was working out in the morning, and this is so important that sometimes we get so caught up with the phones, and everybody when on the gym, they don't even talk to each other. So I went into the sauna room, and then I see this gentleman. He's like on the 70 years old man, and I don't have phone, so I don't have any social media. But every single person in there, they were just looking down on the phone. And this guy start talking to me. He see me that I don't have a phone. We spent about 20 to 30 minutes talking on the phone. Long story short, we start talking about God, and we ended up going that he's from Colombia. He inherit about XYZ millions of dollar properties that he needs to sell in Colombia, and he's looking to buy something for him here, like an apartment. And I just got that just not to be on the phone in one single conversation at the gym. That happened
That's
to me
awesome.
yesterday morning.
Good for you, man. God is good.
Awesome. Do you know how to connect him with an agent in Colombia?
I'm having a conversation with him on Saturday for that. I set up an appointment, and he's a doctor, by the way. He's a doctor in Colombia.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Because we'll find out exactly where in Colombia. Because I know we got a few people. Somebody just joined our team in Colombia last week, and I don't know where they're at, but maybe the stars all lined up. That could work out. And if not, somebody in our personal team, then we can ask anyone in the Honey Badger team, or then look at anyone in the company. Obviously, we'll have people with EXP that covers it. We can also ask.
Yeah, I do. I actually have a contact here in Marietta that is Colombian and has relatives in Colombia and real estate contacts in Colombia. So you can reach out to me and I'll connect you with them if you need to. Yeah, Jeff and Rosa Costin, they were at Optimus with us, but Rosa's Colombian and has family, and they're all excited that we just opened Colombia, right? EXP.
It's awesome. Good for you, Mikhail. That's it. The more conversations you can get with any human being, and you start trying to provide value, things happen.
All right, we're going to wrap this up because we've got a hard stop, and if I ask another question, we might go past. So, James Massey, we did it. We're off before 2. So we're all good there. All right, y'all come back next Friday.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for showing up.
Thank you, everyone. Guys. Bye, Andre.
Bye, buddy.
Thank you for hopping on our Funnel Friday call today, and thank you to our special guests. So if you want more information on how this could work for you, just to be real clear, what we're doing is we're using my business partner's $50,000 a month tech team and business solutions team. So what we do is we help our agents by building out their production system, set up their campaigns, their automation, and then one-on-one training to that system. We hold your hand, walk you through the process until you have your first closing. And then after that, we'll continue to do that weekly, but most of our agents choose to do it monthly, once a month, to stay on accountability, make sure the system's working great, make sure you don't have any questions on the system. And then the agents also have access to us every Friday on Funnel Friday, and all the time via text or phone calls. So we're their business partners, we're helping them. For agents that we're not their business partners with, we have the same exact opportunity. We'll build out your lead generation system / your funnel, set up your campaigns, your automation, one-on-one coaching to get you to the finish line. We also have branding. So we have a coach that will work with our agents for 2 to 4 weeks on the branding, and then a different content creation coach, and then a business revenue growth coach. So if you want to know more how that works and to see if that could work for you, go to dansleadsclass.com/call, or just scan this QR code, dansleadsclass.com/call, and schedule a call with me. It's a 10-minute call. It's 15 minutes blocked, and I block 20 usually, but it's usually a 5 to 10 minutes call just to answer questions, explain how this works, and to see if we're a fit for you now or later. So hop on my calendar. Love to answer questions. Love helping agents. No cost, no obligation. I don't have a credit card swiper, so this is just a strategy type call. dansleadsclass.com/call. Appreciate you watching Funnel Friday today. You're always welcome, and reach out to me anytime.